Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit that notification bell, get all the updates. We're going to say for today's video. So I love this base beer, Worldwide Stout. I have some aging of the regular. I got, and have reviewed that. The Utopias Barrel Aged one, the Oak Aged with vanilla. And when I saw they were making this, and at coffee, I was excited. I'm like, that beer with coffee, like, sign me up. But this has even more stuff going on. So they're calling this the Wake Up Worldwide Stout. 15.3% ABV. So they actually honed in on the ABV. Usually you got to like kind of guess what the ABV is, 15 to 20% on these ones. All right, so ingredients: malted barley, organic Nicaraguan finca. I should have just said coffee. Territo cold pressed coffee, oat milk solids, and hops, cinnamon, and dextrose. Organic maple syrup. So, like, again, a coffee one, it's like I'm happy enough with that. But man, all this other stuff, yes, sign me up. Proper glassware, so you know it's going to taste better. Probably told this story on the channel, but I did 2 tours actually of Dogfish Head when I was down there for an anniversary, and the one they went into like Sam's stash, and that's what they randomly had picked for that tour group, was some aged regular Worldwide Stout, and it had been aged for a while. It was really good. Yeah, so that's deep, dark, a little bit of brown, but like it's a lot of black too. I guess fittingly, the head's kind of like a light mocha color. You put a lot of, milk in your coffee, kind of a color. Legs, little bit of lacing. Looks like a bigger stout. Let's get into that aroma. Man, that coffee hits you. All right, so yeah, first thing is that coffee. Unmistakably, you get the coffee, which I love. Huge coffee fan. But that second one, I think my eyes lit up a little bit. Then I got a little bit of sweetness and a little bit of cinnamon, and it very much reminds me of what I don't really do it much anymore, but like back in the day, maybe I'd get like a latte or a cappuccino, and like the coffee shop would have cinnamon. You could sprinkle some on top. It very much is invoking that memory. It's not, at least in the aroma, the cinnamon is not heavy-handed. I've said this in many reviews. Probably every review I've ever done that the beer has cinnamon. I think that adjunct can easily be overdone. And at least in the aroma, it's not. Honestly, the fact that I didn't get it first whiff and then got a second is probably where I want it. But again, who knows about in the taste. You can kind of see what they're going for here. I mean, it is like sweet coffee drink they're going for, like with some oat milk. You do put some cinnamon on it. Maybe you sweetened it with some maple syrup. Like, I get all that, what they're going for. Wouldn't say I get maple specifically, but I mean it does very much smell like breakfast that way. Okay, so same thing, like as I'm smelling, I don't know if it's opening up, I'm just picking up more things, a combination of those two things and some other stuff I'm not considering. But like now you are getting a little bit of actual like beeriness coming through. Yeah, some roast that doesn't smell like coffee, which is really cool and interesting. And I'm actually impressed that the base beer can fight through the coffee roastiness and kind of say, I'm also kicking out my own roastiness. But also like a little bit of this like earthiness. Maybe because I've been doing so much yard work, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of like a wet mulch smell. But man, what is 90% of the smell? It's the sweet coffee with a little bit of that cinnamon. I'm not really getting like chocolate, which I thought I would a little bit more. But yeah, this smells fantastic. I'll say that. This smells really good and has me even more excited to taste this. Because again, I mean, I'm being honest. Like, I was going into this super, wait for it, hyped. And so far, at least the aroma is like where I want it to be, which has me really excited. So you might be watching right now and thinking to yourself, why are you rambling about that? Like, clearly you want to try this beer, so shut up and drink it. Cheers. That's good. You know, one of the things, this is cool. The coffee coming in is just coffee for sure, but I think that's what's adding like this little bit like a prickly note, which is kind of cool. I'm really surprised how dry this beer is, because I'm just thinking, you know, how much grain has to go into this beer to get that alcohol that high. Dextrose and maple syrup. It's like all that stuff. And I know things ferment out. But man, that coffee, the base beer, and the alcohol is keeping this pretty dry. I get as I'm talking, the most faint alcohol. A little bit on the taste, it's like the sip itself, but definitely like some of that there. Given the ABV, I'm not surprised at all. It's kind of doing that thing that happened in the Aroma for me, where as I'm sipping more, I'm still noticing that coffee for sure, and all the stuff that coffee's doing, that prickliness, the actual coffee, the roast melding with the roast of the beer. But then you do get a little bit of cinnamon. There's like this, again, it's more roasty, but there is like a little bit of an ashy note as well. I talked a lot about the cinnamon and the Aroma. I'm not getting a lot yet, at least in the taste. Same thing with the maple. And again, I don't know. Maple syrup is so interesting to me when you put it in beer. Like, does it just ferment the sugar and you're not left with much maple or not? Because like I've had, you know, however many maple beers, and some express a lot of maple, or like a decent amount of maple, and some really don't, to me anyway. And this one's not expressing a lot of maple. Like, if like me, you're going into this beer because you like the base and you like coffee and you want the coffee version of that beer, I think you'll be satisfied. If you're like, man, and there's maple syrup in it and there's cinnamon in it, then maybe it's going to be a little bit more of a nuanced conversation about did it live up to where you wanted it to be fair. But man, as a coffee stout, I'm liking this. Yeah, the cinnamon, it's like a little like barky, like woody, you know? But yeah, it's about 3/4 of the way. And actually, even now as I'm talking, there is some cinnamon. It's like but it's not sweet cinnamon. It's almost like Big Red gum, that sounds like it would be off-putting and everything else I'm describing. It's got that like spicy cinnamon, I guess is probably maybe a more appetizing way of saying it. But yeah, like you want the coffee version of this beer, this is it. But just be aware it is a pretty dry, like roasty, ashy experience too. So like it's certainly not some big sweet stout. Man, yeah, this is nice. I'm going back and forth. Like, do I want to age a bottle? Because it's got the coffee in it, so I don't want to age it for too long. But I don't know, like maybe that alcohol will die down a little bit in the aftertaste. And again, it's there. It's not overly there though, but it is there. So if you don't like that in your beer, fair enough. But while you're drinking a 15% stout, if you don't like the taste of at least a little bit of alcohol in your beer. I know this one like just got announced and just came out. I think I'm drinking this about a week after I heard this beer even existed. So I'm really, the reason I bring all that up is, have you had this beer? Because like I'm super excited to compare tasting notes with people. So if you've had this beer before, definitely comment section below. If you have any other thoughts, comment section below. Once you're done doing that, make sure you check me out on Instagram and Untapped. It's No Hype Beer Reviews at both those places. So always please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.